You guys are now all knowledgeable of charter government, right? We're all ready to go out and vote right now. Because you are now educated on what charter government is. So today, you're prepared to go out and vote. And the people that are in our community today, they're ready to go out and vote. And that's why, essentially, I held this up, is so that we can get educated. Charter government is so complex. Charter government is like a box of chocolate. You never know what you're going to get. And you bite into that piece of chocolate. You may get a cherry, you may get some mint, you may get some dark chocolate. You just don't know. And that's my position, is we don't know what we're going to get with charter government. My coach used to say, Wes, if you don't know where you're going, you won't know when you arrive. And you know, to be honest, that's what we're getting with charter government. We don't know what we're going to get. I can appreciate what Edmund's saying. Let's mimic what we currently have. Let's get the same structure, and let's just amend a little thing here and a little thing there. We can't do that. We can't say that. None of your council members who stand here and advocate on your behalf can actually say that. Tomorrow, if this goes out of council or next year, what's going to happen is you're going to have a lot of people who want to sit on that commission. You may have a list of 50, 100 people that may sign up for that commission. And you're going to go through that list like you do now in your board, in your ballots, and you're going to see the names you know. Right? You're going to look down, and I can guarantee you many of those names you're not going to know. And then those people got to go out, and they got to campaign each and every day and try to get your vote. And that's what we're dealing with. So how will we know when we have the right government structure? We won't. No one to date have asked for any changes that we could not do currently in our current form of government. Nobody's come to us and said, Thomas, can you change this? Or can you do this? Or can you make this happen? We haven't tried. If there's something we need to change, why not try under our current form of government? So we're just pushing for charter government to mimic our current structure. Does that make sense for us to move forward? We got the perfect government. I'm using my colleague Mary Smelly made this statement. She says it a lot. I kind of like it, actually. If it's not broke, why fix it? She said that to me when I was going for the 2-year terms to 4 years. It's not broke, why fix it? Well, that's what I'm saying today. If it's not broke, why fix it? There's nothing wrong with statutory government. There's nothing wrong with charter government. It's not a bad thing. The question is, do we really need it? Canton is just coming out of a major economic downturn with the worst recession of in terms of many of our lifetimes. We have made it through the storm. Why introduce another storm? Charter government come through. Believe me, it's going to take our focus. It's going to take my focus. I'm going to have to go out and educate people on this so they can vote a certain way. You're going to have to go out and educate people to vote a certain way. And it's going to take me away from the killings that happened down on 7th Street. It's going to take me away from the storm that happened and destroyed Minnesota Park. It's going to take me away from a lot of things in my ward and a lot of things in your ward and the things that you care about. That's what charter government's going to do. Our ward needs that attention, and they need our councilman right now. And this is not the time for charter government. Statutory government. Canton, in my mind, has the perfect system. Why? Because every part of our system currently is represented. Everybody has a vote. One vote. No matter what part of the city you live in, you've got a vote.
That's right.
And I think that's a great thing. We have our checks and balances. We have our auditor, and we have the treasurer. The checks and balances in terms of financial, our finances are accurate. We have elected independent law director. He's not appointed by the mayor. He's not controlled by the mayor. He's not controlled by council. He supports all, and he supports you. We have a police department that's not appointed by a politician. Matter of fact, he comes up in the ranks and he runs his own race. Mayor can't get rid of him. Council can't get rid of him. We have a strong council, weak mayor form of government, which means that the people hold the power, not the mayor. You hold the power. How? Because each one of you elect a council representative. Council holds the purse strings. We currently do that. So you hold the power. Under a charter format, they can come up and say, you know what, we want a city manager and a mayor to run everything. And then you took the power out of, they took the power out of your hands. The people have more protections under our current form of government than with charter. Why do I say that? I'm going to take you back to 2011. 2011, council, we had a code, property code, and it was called the owner-occupied code. What happened was, council and the administration made some rules up about how you dictate your properties. The landlords came in. Landlords went to the state, and they said we were wrong, that we were violating the law. And sure enough, we were. The state came down, and it beat us over the head, and we had to change our code. And now we are with the International Property Maintenance Code. It forced us to sit down with the landlords and our law department to create a code that worked for everybody, including our building department. Right now, those protections are in place, not just to protect. We don't want to make everything easy for council, because there has been some abuses, and I'm going to go forward with that. I'll talk about that in a minute. There is some opposition to change. Ken don't like to change. A charter government is a big change from traditional representative government, where people are elected to speak for citizens within assigned districts. Charter government tends to involve direct democracy. Not everyone will view this positive thing and may see it as a step as Big Brother. And believe me, I got a lesson on that when the traffic cameras came down. A lot of people didn't want to see that. Why not charter government? Potential for inadequate representation. My colleague brought up Columbus. Columbus is dealing with that right now. Columbus has 7 council members. 6 out of the 7 live in the same district, within 6 miles of each other in Columbus. 2 live on the same street. That's their representation, and that's one of my biggest fears here in Canton. Potential for more division. Potential for corruption. Potential for elimination of statutory safeguards. Potential for the elimination of checks and balances, and there's a potential for too much government control, and I'll go over those. As I just mentioned, 6 out of 7 members. The other thing I want to say, one of their members don't even live in Columbus, because they didn't put anything in their provision to keep all the people that live in their city. The demographics are different in all of these larger cities. So when we talk about diverse representation, Canton, our at-large, we have not moved beyond moving a minority from wards 2 and 4.
That's right.
Which means that when we talk about at-large members, we know that most at-large members normally come from the northern parts of the city. And that's been historically. And that, in my mind, we're talking about apples and oranges. When we talk about Cleveland, 65% minority. Yes, they got diversity. When we talk about Columbus, they're 32% minority. Canton's 24%. Division. When we talk about charter government, in itself can create division. The division on people that's within that charter, and it's going to take a long process. Checks and balances. Council, this is a situation that happened in Columbus, where a group called Columbus Coalition for Response Government, and this is what they said: this council initiated power to place issues on the ballot, has been used more than 69 times since 1914. They amended their charter 52 times since 1980. It is the fastest, most efficient way to place a charter issue on the ballot. The most recent example of council using the charter power came by way of issues 6 and 12 in 2010, which was a charter amendment council voted to put on the ballot to allow closed-door meetings for when council was appointing new members to council. The issue 12 did not have any signatures in support. It was simply proposed by council for council owns convenience. So, that council could operate secret meetings, making appointments. opportunity for corruption. That's what can happen also in the charter government. We talk about the good things. We can put things on the ballot really quick. There's a cost to that. And some of which we can actually put on there. So when we talk about union issues, and when we talk about pension issues, and when we talk about other issues, those are things that can actually be done really relatively quickly. Let's talk about what happens. Let's talk about Canton compared to other charter cities. Cincinnati, charter city. It's the poorest city in the state. They currently have a referendum to take away city benefits, and as Mac had explained. Detroit went bankrupt. They have right now, and Detroit has been a charter city for many years, and right now they're dealing with ethic issues. Matter of fact, they've got a referendum on the ballot to deal with their ethics because they had so much corruption going on in Detroit. And I don't need to tell you what's going on in Detroit. Columbus, like I said before, representation issues. They're doing an amendment again to try to get representation from the west side and the south sides of the city. They currently don't have a councilman to service those areas. They're all supposed to. So what's happening? People are worried, people are upset because they get preferential treatment for where all their council members live, and the other wards don't have that representation. So there's a group fighting down there in Columbus right now. These are charter cities. Currently we don't have that problem. You know why? Because we're represented. Canton, we haven't laid anybody off. Let's get real. We live within our means. Our government is moving. Yeah, we have our problems. But you know what? We're not bankrupt. We have carryover. Each person, each ward, each neighborhood has representation. And guess what? We have a great working relationship with the unions and the Chamber of Commerce. Go figure. That's the city of Canton. That's a statutory government. Why charter is a no vote for Canton? There are too many gray areas and opportunity for manipulation by unscrupulous and elite public groups. I don't need to talk to you about Tea Party issues. The 15-member Charter Commission would be limited to those who have financial means to wage successful election campaign. Thereby, representation of structure would mirror those people and their agendas. When you look at, let me look at Kevin Boyce. Kevin Boyce ran for Columbus City Council. Guess how much it cost? $500,000 is how much he raised to run for that seat. That's Columbus. That's a charter city that we talked about that had diverse representation. That's crucial. Nobody in my ward, I couldn't even run for that council. Maybe I could, I just probably didn't have the money. I have to go to Leonidas. Education is the key. I'm not totally against charter government. I'm just saying it's not now. I'm saying we need to educate everybody in this community clearly on what charter government. It's not a stall tactic. And I'm going to tell you something else. I already signed the legislation to go up to the law department. They have it. But it's about educating people. It's not about forcing things to the ballot, especially not this. This is too big. This is too comprehensive. This is hard to understand and to dissect. And if you guys are ready and prepared to go vote tomorrow, then you guys stand up and clap after this is all over.
We don't want it.
If you propose...
We don't want it. We don't want it. No. No.
This is a no-brainer. Keep it the same. Thank you. Now...